Hey Quentin, so we're going to go ahead and go over a few of your videos here. I'm at a family member's house, so not the most ideal setting, but we'll go ahead and go over a few of your videos. I'll kind of describe what I see. Don't mind the noises in the back there. To start, we're going to go ahead and go over this squat video here. So the biggest things I noticed right off the bat is our elbows. So your elbows are really important. Your elbow position, that is really, really important because it kind of decides how well you can use your lats. So if our elbows, so like the way we should be using our lats, which are a spinal stabilizer, the way we should be using our lats in a squat is by pulling the barbell down, similar to the lat pull down exercise. But if you're doing the lat pull down exercise and you have your elbows out like this, are you going to be able to use your lats very well? Answer is no. So some individuals can get away with from getting like this. It can be a little bit of tuck because obviously lacking shoulder mobility and then having different leverages. But at the same time, we should be at least in about this motion here to even have a chance at using our lats properly and creating upper back tension. So that alone will make a huge difference long term. So let's go ahead and give that a shot. Maybe doing some extra tissue work or mobility work right before we squat, so we can go from here to here. That's probably the biggest thing right off the bat, though. So the next thing I notice, if we look at your bottom position right now, the last portion of the bottom position, we have a little bit of shifting forward. You'll notice that your shin position, which ideally should be relatively upright, is kind of going nice, 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 not bad, not bad, not bad, and then just straight forward, knees dump forward a little bit, and we lose quite a bit of tension. Now it's not bad by any means. You actually have a really nice squat pattern, but one thing I want to do is going from this position here, the shin angle going boom, your knees shooting forward right at the bottom and kind of losing tension, to controlling it a little more, doing a little tempo work on your workups. So what I'm going to have you do is every workup set on your squat primary day. So let's say your squat primary day, your working set's going to be 300 pounds. So that means on 135, 185, 225, and so on, while you're working up to your working load for the day, I want you to do 4-count eccentric, 1-count pause from the bottom, and really work on shifting back, sitting back as you ascend to the hole, and keeping a little more upright of a shin angle, which will help with power transfer and better joint centration. Everything else looks real good. Those are probably two things: getting elbows from here to here, and also just trying not to lose tension at the bottom, sitting back more, working on that tempo work, and having a more upright shin angle. Those are probably the big two. So we'll go ahead and stick with that for next week. Really focus on those things, and be sure to send me more videos. The more the better, to an extent. All right, so another video that you sent me. So two big things I'm noticing right off the bat. There's two. One, our elbows were over tucking. So the way we know we're over tucking is ideally on the bottom. So ideally on the bottom, we're nice and stacked. Wrist directly over elbow, directly over barbell. Everything's in stacked position, and this allows us the best power transfer possible and the best joint centration, similar to the shin angle in a squat. But at the same time, if there's any deviation there, we're decreasing the amount of power output we can produce. And on top of that, we're increasing the likelihood of an injury. But there's one exception to that. A lot of elite level benchers won't be as optimally stacked as others because they're too wide. So if your elbows are inside and because your grip's a little too wide, crazy wide for your build, and that's why you're a little unstacked, that's okay. That can actually create more tension at times for more elite level benchers. But at the same time, if at any time you're just over tucking like so, that's something we want to avoid. That's something we want to adjust and kind of make different. So right now, ideally, we have about this much elbow tuck, perfectly stacked on the bottom, ready to produce force. But instead, we're going over tucking quite a bit. So what I want you to do is, I think long-term development, raising the ceiling over time, going with a wider grip is going to be a really, really good idea. But just to start, I want you to just go ahead and mitigate how much you tuck your elbows. It's going to be a little unfamiliar position at first, and you're going to kind of question how it feels. But at the same time, I just want you to go from overly tucking to about a 45-degree elbow tuck and keeping that throughout the press. It's going to be a much, much better power transfer along with just more effective of a bench press. So that's probably the biggest thing. The second thing is breathing and bracing. Rather than explaining on this video, I'm just going to send you a really good piece of content we have on it, but I should see a power belly when you bench press. I'm a relatively lower body fat percentage individual. Sitting at about 7'8", but I can still create a crazy belly right before I actually go to bench. And in your squat, I noticed that you have pretty decent bracing mechanics, but in your bench press, we're not really doing it quite as well. So I want to see that power belly. I want it to fill up diaphragmatically, brace, and then keep that throughout the bench press. Right now, we're just kind of sucking in, and we're not getting nearly as much of global stability as we otherwise could if we braced better. Third thing, and we'll just stick with 3 things this week. Third thing, because it's a positional thing, really easy to fix, what I want you to do is get your feet as far under you as possible while maintaining the ability to keep them flat to the ground. I used to be one that did the same thing as you, got my feet so far under that I ended up being on my toes, but this makes it extremely challenging to stabilize as well as we otherwise could and have leg drive. So what I want you to do, have your heels on the ground as far under you as possible, like you're already doing, except limit yourself by how far you can do so with keeping full foot contact with the ground. But yeah, those are the big 3 things for the bench press. And those are only 2 videos they sent me, so I don't have anything about deadlift because I didn't get a video yet, but hopefully that's to come. Let's go ahead and start with those cues, work on those next week, and let me know if you have any questions whatsoever.